recording now, not start streaming, because I'm an idiot.
So
I'm glad Q was the only one that jumped in.
Hang on. Hey, when you said streaming, you were actually streaming this on Twitch?
Yes. Because the start stream and start recording are right above each other.
Right next to each other?
And so I just inadvertently, just because that's what I'm used to, is streaming.
Oh, man. Did you have anything on the screen?
Nope. So anybody watching right now, because I think I might keep this in the final edit.
Please
Anybody
do.
watching right now, which would basically be Cube, you didn't see anything. You didn't hear anything. I did not stream this to the channel for a whole minute. Ever.
I hope someone saw this. I so badly wish this was seen. I hope Cube is just like, what just happened right now?
Now the question is, do we talk about that whole thing again? Or do we not and let everybody just wonder, anybody who ever listens?
I mean, I got something else to talk about too. It's like
okay,
not
cool.
gaming related. If you want it open, I got it open for you.
Yeah, so we have a cool, so this is the, okay. Hi, hello. This is the official intro. A whole minute into this thing. This is the Gaming Dadcast, maybe to be rebranded later on. Don't know yet, but I've got Celiac Matt. I know it's celiac. It's celiac.
It's celiac Matt. Thank you.
Celiac Matt and the artist formerly known as SM Steven Streams. I don't know what he's going to be. I was going to put this in, so I got some cool little, like little promotions, but I had nothing to promote for you, Scott, so I'm sorry.
I did look. SM Stevens Streams has been annihilated. Twitch has eradicated it, so I will start a new one promptly.
I'm still following that account.
Really?
Yes.
It's pretty sad that like my own account doesn't want to follow me, but it'll
well,
it's followed by you.
I can't help that. Sorry.
I mean, that unappealing. Even myself doesn't want to go and see me.
So anyway, I'm okay with openers because I'm going to be editing this thing, and okay, just so that you guys know, Matt, you and I are going to throw our random comments at the end, and then Scott's going last. And I'm going to use that graphic that my wife made me that is just amazing. And I want to also say that my son thought up a good name for Scott, and I told Scott this when we played last week.
Yeah.
And he I'm not joking. This was his words. He's like, "What is it? Is it Scotty Porta Potty?" And Chelsea goes, "Yeah, that's what it is." He goes, "Oh, that's a missed opportunity." And we both start laughing, and we're like, "What?" And he goes, "He should have been Porta Scotty."
Ooh.
And I was like, I'm thinking of and when I told Scotty, he's like, I should have told those bullies. No, you need to call me Porta Scotty.
Yep. If I could only go back in time and,
can you imagine like a bunch of bullies that are like, Scotty Porter Party, he's going to hate it. Everyone's going to hate it. And like the response is like, sir, that was a missed opportunity. I have a better suggestion for you when it comes down to insulting me.
My 8-year-old son.
Try harder.
I did get the last laugh because that was at summer camp, and I totally stole that kid's T-shirt with a naked girl on it. Good times.
Was this one of the many shirts that was in that drawer of dirty shirts that you've had
for
6 years straight?
Those were shirts not washed 6 years, not in like 26 years.
Okay, we draw the line somewhere, like 6 years of dirty shirts, fine, perfect, no questions. Anything over than that, absolutely not.
Nope, it's officially garbage. It's done.
Yeah.
Over.
It's that 6-year line that Scott was walking that makes it okay. Got it. All right. So here's the thing. I'm excited about this podcast because I already have all this nice equipment for it. And I know Scott is super excited for this podcast because he actually bought a microphone for this. Scott, I have a question for you. Where did you buy your microphone?
Microphone available at Walmart.
See, I like that he was talking. It didn't even pick up until at the end. But you said Walmart. You just said Walmart.
That in the edit. You were like this, Scott. I'm not joking. It was like freaking Kung Pao. You were like this. At Walmart.
That made it even better. Second question. This microphone you bought for Mike's podcast here, how much did it cost?
It cost a whole $25.
That's all. I just wanted to comment on it. And your video and Mike cutting out at the opportune time just makes this such a delight for me.
It's wonderful.
Hey guys, it was either It was either pay for $5 microphone or not buy my carton of eggs for the week. I had to make decisions.
Do you? All right. Here's a serious question. Do you guys actually finish your cartons of eggs?
No.
100%.
Okay.
We
All right.
do.
Well, Mike, you have more mouths to feed. All right, Scott, I'm with you. I rarely finish a carton of eggs. I often go to cook eggs. My wife was like, "Matt, are the eggs bad?" I'm like, "How do you know if eggs are bad?" Apparently, if you put them in water and if the egg kind of floats up, it means the eggs are bad. I didn't know that.
Oh, don't have a bad egg. Mm-mm.
What happened,
If
Mike? What happens when you have a
if you,
bad egg?
Oh, bad stuff. Bad stuff
if you try to
happens in the
crack open
bathroom.
an egg and it starts tweeting, then you know it's bad. Then you know it's been around too long.
Oh man.
Scott doesn't understand how eggs work. Although, given I don't understand that he was making like a bird noise reference, and I was thinking like, what does eggs have to do with Twitter? And now I'm ashamed of myself because that's where I went
Yes, you should be.
instantly.
You should be ashamed.
I'm ashamed for many things in life. That's one of them.
Oh man.
I'm gonna make a pitch. We should get ChatGPT to kind of replace us and do this. It could be like that Seinfeld AI Twitch stream, except with less transphobe content.
I bet Chat GPT. What is it, Scott? GPT.
Yeah, GPT.
Yeah. I bet it would have a better mic than you right now. So let's go.
Screw you.
Boom! You gotcha.
Got him.
Got
Hey, we're
him.
talking about video games today, right, Mike?
We are talking about video games. So I'm gonna talk this week since you guys talked all last week.
You're welcome.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So today there was a Nintendo Direct. So as of this recording, there was a Nintendo Direct, and I hit me the right way all along, all across the board. I have Metroid Prime Remastered sitting on my Switch, ready to be played. I have Game Boy Advance games sitting there ready to be played. I'm gonna play Minish Cap. I'm gonna play that game so hard. I still got Dead Space remake to play. I still got Fire Emblem Engage DLC came out. I got all this stuff. Okay. So the big thing that a lot of people are now starting to go, oh, blah, blah, blah. So they were like, that Direct was awesome. It was great. We got Pikmin 4. We got this and that, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we got this awesome trailer of Tears of the Kingdom at the end. And I can't be any more hyped about that game. I don't think anybody can. I think everybody's just like, just release it. Give it to us. We're ready. Pre-orders went up. And something happened that I think we all just assumed it would eventually happen. I kind of expected it to start happening the next console for Nintendo, the Switch successor, Switch 2, whatever's going to happen. But it came. And then we're gonna talk about this because Scott and I were already yelling about it before, and I told him to save it because I want him to yell on the recording. $70. So Tears of the Kingdom
see,
pre-order
that's
went up,
waste-
and it's going to
that's
be
waste right
$70.
They're selling the game with the DLC for $70, or
No.
the game is $70.
The base game is $70. We know nothing about DLC. We know none of that stuff. $70. Not the collector's edition. Not anything extra. Not with an amiibo. $70.
Is
for
this
Tears
the
of Kingdom.
first instance of a major game purposely going like, yeah, we know you're gonna buy this, we're gonna add money to it? Is this like the first major game to do that?
No.
Okay.
Sony's done
Ragnarok did it. Yeah, Ragnarok's done it.
Ragnarok did. Well,
I
even
feel I only
before
spent
then.
60 for Ragnarok.
Even before then, Returnal. That was the first one, and that was the big thing. And that was even more of a controversy because it wasn't a Zelda, a God of War, a Halo. It wasn't a big one. It was like, it's like, what's Returnal? Like, what is this game? And $70? And it sparked this whole controversy. So Sony started it. Then Microsoft followed suit and gave an explanation. Nintendo's been quiet. And now they just drop it. And so anyway, I want to get your thoughts on it first, and I want to see what you guys think, because this is why I like doing this with you guys. We are all at very different parts of our lives. So we have together we have a very wide perspective, right? Of, well, I'm looking at it from this angle. I'm looking at it from, Matt, you're looking at it from a different angle. Scott, you're looking at it from a third angle. So what do you guys think about this? So, I mean, this is it now. It seems like Nintendo was the last stronghold of not doing 70. What do you think?
I want to know what Kurt Angle thinks of this. That's what I want to know. with all those angles you're talking about. I'd really care about his opinion
I
on
legitimately,
Zelda.
I was gonna respond. I don't know how he would respond to that. Do
Yeah, he
you?
probably doesn't. He doesn't care. He has like 20 children right now. I bet
But
they're talking about Zelda right now, and he's just like, I don't care, man.
Dude,
Please
it's like
stop
20
talking about it.
kids times 20 copies of Zelda,
Oh my
and they
god.
increase it by $10. That's like
he's
You
Kurt
know what?
Angle.
that's
Kurt
Kurt,
Angle.
$200.
Kurt
He probably
Angle's gonna
does.
buy one copy and say it's your turn today.
You know what? That's smart parenting right there. I'm sure. I actually, this is the literally the first I've heard that this game is going to be like $70. So my first thought is like right off the cuff is like I thought like there was like a standard for games. Like if there's a new game, it's like what, $60? That's the standard for games now.
That's what it's
I
been. Yes.
That's what it's been. That's what it should be. So a game coming out that's just 70 right off the bat with nothing extra, I think sets a very concerning precedent. Given if any game was to come out and have like the balls to do that, it being Zelda makes the most sense because that's a game that everyone's just like, shut up and take my money. Like that's not a meme. That is real life. My initial reaction though was like, I hate that because I like that games had a standard cost. And with new generation games, they've already gone up about $10. So from PS4 to PS5, there's been about a $10 difference in games, if I recall, which I'm like, all right, whatever. New generation, new games. That makes sense. But the Switch has been around for a while, and I really noticed it, especially today, as a good example. I'm like, you know what? My PlayStation's set up in my office where I am right now. I'm on my couch. I'm going to play on my Switch. There's a new season of Overwatch. I'll just play it on my Switch. And I start playing on my Switch. I'm just like, holy crap. Overwatch runs awful on this thing. It is terrible. I was playing a new map and like all the textures were like bright neon colors because the game just gave up even trying to like load and keep up with it. The Switch as a hardware compared to all the other systems, and we already knew this, not great comparatively. Of course, there are different benefits to the Switch. That's a side conversation that we can have. But the Switch as a console, as hardware, I don't really think is deserving of a $70 price tag. That being said, are we all going to buy this game?
You damn right.
Yeah, we're all going to buy this game. And Nintendo's like, bro, you're going to buy this game. So from a business standpoint, great. From a consumer standpoint, I'm angry. But well, guess what? I'm part of the problem. Here's my 70 freaking dollars. That's what's going to happen. Am I angry about it? Yes. Am I going to give them my money? Also, yes.
Yeah, I'm
Also,
basically
where's my new Switch?
I'm basically in the same like mindset as Matt. I don't think if the new Switch successor came out and Zelda was a launch title for it or whatever first parties they released for it and they bumped it up to 70, it's like, all right, I get it. But let's be honest. Are they completely doing a brand new engine for Tears of the Kingdom over, Breath of the Wild? No. It's probably the same exact like gameplay. And Mike has that look to him. Let me finish.
No, I'm letting you finish. That's why I shut up.
They didn't completely redesign it at the very least, they reused a lot of assets. I think we can at least agree on that. Okay, well, Mike has that look to him.
Keep going. You're proving my point. Keep going. I love this. Go.
I don't think it was justified, but at the same time, I get it. I'm never going to be happy about spending more money, but everything's more expensive. And games have been at 60 for quite a while, and it's not like Nintendo was the first to do it. My beef with it is I think Nintendo was doing it in a really sneaky, weaselly way, and I don't appreciate that. So, of all the people who increased their games to $70, I think the ones who had the biggest balls and were the most upfront about was Microsoft. Because technically, I don't even think a Microsoft game has gone up to 70. It's going to this year, and they were very clear about that last year, saying, hey, our games in 2023, they're going to go up to 70. It costs more. We want to pay the devs better. It's just, that's how it goes. Everything else has gone up in price. Video games are going to follow suit. And they were upfront about it. They gave a good reason. It's like, all right, cool. And now you got Nintendo who's kind of like sneaking it in. And there was that leak last night of it, going out and people, all the game news websites saying like, oh, it's going to be $70. And Nintendo scrubbed all references on all the shops about that to go and make it a secret. And I'm pretty sure that it would still be a secret if it wasn't for the fact that it was leaked last night. But
I didn't know that.
The thing that really, really gets me about it, though, is Nintendo themselves said that not every first-party game is going to be 70 going forward. It's going to be on a case-by-case basis. So I shouldn't be bitching about, like, oh, how dare they not charge 70 for every first-party Nintendo game going forward. But I do feel like it's a very blatant, exploit the fan base. Because like Matt said, am I going to still pay 70? Is $10 going to be the deal breaker? No. Is it really fucked up that Nintendo is taking advantage of their fan base like this? absolutely. And like it's a thumb to the eye. And yeah, again, like they could have been upfront long time ago saying, "Hey guys, we're going to start charging $70 for some of our first party titles." All right, whatever. But to be sneaky about it and to even be blatant about like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be Tears of the Kingdom, probably the next Mario." Whenever the really big games come out and we feel like people will pay the extra $10 for it, we're going to do it. So, like Matt said, good business, very very shitty. Way to reward very loyal fan base. So that's my take.
So before I play devil's advocate here, and actually it's not really devil's advocate, I'm bringing up facts. I think we're all in agreement. None of us want to pay more. Yeah, we like money.
Yeah,
All of us here, we like money.
I like money.
Yes. Okay. So that's lay down that ground rule right now. That is like that's the safe word here. Money. That being said, Scott, you mentioned reusing assets. You know what wonderful, top-notch, one of the best game of 2022 did? God of War Ragnarok
So good.
reused a boatload of assets, and
And
I
I'm not
was
saying that was right
100%
either.
okay with it.
I'm not. It works, and I would argue that game, as wonderful as it was, and as much as I loved it, I would even argue that maybe wasn't worth $70.
Ooh. So then it's all the preference, because I look at that and I go, you know what? I paid 70. Yeah, that was worth it for me, because that experience is amazing. And
Well, I
I'm
mean,
looking
if you
forward
want
to
to
more.
go down that slippery slope, what was God of War Ragnarok worth to you? If was it so great you would pay 200 for it, Mike? Would you have paid
Exactly.
300? Like, what is God of War? There's a difference between the value of it and what actually went into making it. And my beef is, like, take Resident Evil 4 remake. They're rebuilt. They're not just ripping a bunch of assets from Resident Evil 4 like they've done countless times over and over and over again. They're building a brand new. Well, I'm not sure if the engine's new or they're reusing the one for 2 and 3, but point being, there's effort going into there. Like, I'm pretty sure that there wasn't as much effort into rebuilding Resident Evil 4 remake as there is, or opposite. I'm pretty sure that there was far less effort put into Tears of the Kingdom to make that game graphically, engine wise, assets, whatnot, than Resident Evil 4 remake or even Dead Space remake. Dead Space is $60. Resident Evil is going to be $60. Tears of the Kingdom running on
Dead
let's be
Space is
honest,
70. Dead Space is 70.
Oh, it is a 70. All right, well, I'll retract that point, but let's be honest. Like, graphical wise, do you really think if $70 worth of dev effort went into Tears of the Kingdom? Coding wise, do you think went into Tears of the Kingdom? Like,
So I would actually say yes, but let's just say you're right there, okay? You're 100% right. Let's say 75, 80% of the assets just reuse, okay? So they did 25% of the work. I read an article very recent. This was like a week or two ago.
everything you hear on the internet is true, by the way.
Well, this was an article from Nintendo's earnings. So unless Nintendo is lying about this stuff, then okay. And I'll maybe I'll find links and put it in the YouTube video or whatever, so I could, back my talk up here. Nintendo raised salaries for the majority of their people. And the goal was to keep people there, employee retention, and to make them happier and to do whatever. And in the past, not the Switch era, but Iwata, rest in peace, that dude and all of the top staff at that time, when the Wii U failed so horrendously, now even Microsoft has fired a boatload of people recently. Sony, all these people. There was something just recently I just saw too. I don't remember who it was. Somebody else sold a whole bunch, or fired a whole bunch of people. Nintendo, all of the top people took giant price cuts in order to not fire anybody, because the Wii U was such a flop and their 3DS sales weren't taking off yet. So, let's say that you're right. 75% of those are assets, whether we think it's valuable or not, whatever. They've raised salaries to keep people there. What if that's going towards that?
What's interesting about all that is...
And not just CEOs, by the way. It wasn't just like, oh, the CEOs get the salary bumps. No, it was like treehouse people and stuff like that.
So my main takeaway, hang on, my cat just literally unplugged my headphones from my computer. I fixed it. Don't worry.
You thought you were going to make a point, but no.
Nope. My main takeaway is my cat now climbs me like a mountain goat, like he loves to do.
He had the pinned ears too. He was
That's
like,
he loves this. My main takeaway is, holy crap, when's the last time I spent full price on a video game? Because you guys are saying all this. I'm like, wait, when have I spent $70? The most recent like new game that I bought was, I think, Callisto Protocol for my wife, which was 60. And then I did get God of War Ragnarok, but I got 20.
How did you get Callisto for 60?
GameStop. I just walked in there. I was like, give me that.
It must have been used. You got it used.
It was new. It only cost me $60. That's a price,
because that was also $70. I'm gonna check my. You continue on. I'm gonna double check.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna check myself, but you continue on.
Maybe I just had some. I think I had some GameStop credit or something, so maybe I didn't notice it. But then I thought about like, okay, God of War Ragnarok. I bought that on Amazon to get it like mailed to my house, and I bought that with a $25 gift card I got from the company I was working with at the time, which was funny because I was leaving the company at the time, and I still like somehow got this $25 from Amazon. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm gonna buy God of War. So I used it to buy God of War. I can't remember the last time I paid full price without any discount, any coupon, any gift card for a video game. So now I'm just like, man, have games cost $70 this whole time? What?
That's a very good point. By the
way,
I'm
just noticing
Callisto Protocol is $69.99. It's on sale right now for $49 because it failed at sales.
Yeah,
but it was $70.
Okay, so one, I don't know how much video games cost these days. So I've also not like looked into like the economics of it, but if it follows everything else in the world, and I've been working in human resources and touching payroll for like most of my time there. I've been doing that for 13 years. The business side of things makes sense. Like you telling me that Nintendo made sure to like do like raises across the board to like not lose folks and things like that. And everything is getting more expensive. So from a business standpoint, an inflationary standpoint, I have seen this top to bottom from an employer standpoint working in HR and payroll. That makes sense. And how do they recoup those funds other than just, not paying execs as much? Because God forbid execs can't have multi-million-dollar salaries. They have to do something on the consumer side. And that makes complete sense. And I've worked in healthcare for most of my career from an HR side, not bedside. And I've seen healthcare costs skyrocket. And one, that's a reflection of the American healthcare system, which I think is stupid broken, but that's not at all relevant.
That's a whole other conversation.
And two, the prices were raised to offset trying to retain people, which most companies have done terribly at because they're so hesitant to raise salaries. And it's funny to me that they seem less hesitant to raise the cost for products and goods to a public facing level. But again, that's an HR side of thing. So games going to $70 for like the PS5, apparently that's happened for a while. The Xbox One, I don't even know the name of the new Xbox. That's how little I've cared about Xbox over the years. Them all going to $70, like it makes sense from a business standpoint. I can't be too mad about that because it's just a reflection of the current global economy. But companies know this, and the fact that I didn't know any, like you telling me that like they had like the price listing for Zelda like listed somewhere and they try to be sneaky to pull it down, but now it's out there. It just makes it look even worse. If they had just been like it's 70, we'd be like, okay. But the fact that like, oh, it's 70, no, shut up, don't tell them, hide it, put it under the rug. That makes it even worse because they know it's such a bad thing that people don't want to see. But it's inevitable. Stuff's going to get more and more expensive. And I'm sure at some point growing up, because you guys were about the same age, you ever watch this cartoon called Pepper Ann? I'm sure you did. Yeah. Okay. Here's the point I'm trying to make. There was a random episode where like it's like a flash forward to the future. Pepper Ann's at like a high school reunion and she goes to buy a slice of pizza and someone says like, all right, that'd be $20. And as a kid, I'm like, pizza shouldn't cost $20. But now as an adult, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. that makes sense. That was my first exposure to inflation that actually stuck with me. It was a freaking Pepper Ann cartoon.
And we just
buying a slice of pizza.
We just don't realize it. And then it hits and we go, oh.
It's taking me all my willpower right now not to sing the Pepper Ann theme.
I've got it playing in my head. It's living rent free now.
You're welcome for you, the internet, anyone that ever hears this, you're welcome for your sudden infatuation with Pepper Ann. If they remaster it, remake it, whatever the heck, you don't remaster TV shows. If they remake the show, I will watch it. Anyone that watches this, if you get Pepper Ann back on the air, I'm going to watch it. Okay?
The best thing about Pepper Ann is how her best friend was obviously a stoner, but they never actually like had him do any stoner related things. It's just like
that show, and probably because I was a young man at the time, there was a whole episode dedicated to buying a bra. And I'm a young boy, like watching this. I'm like, what is a bra? What is this? What are you talking about? And during the episode, there was like a weird montage or something where everywhere she looks, she sees basically boobs because it reminds her that she has to wear a bra for the first time. Look it up. This is real. This
I don't remember this at all.
Gosh, I hope this is real.
You're watching fan-made Pepper Ann.
Someone confirmed to me.
Rule 34 Pepper Ann.
Oh no! Someone confirmed to me that was an episode that actually happened. Please,
Scott will get this reference. Non-canonical. Non-canonical.
Good reference.
I'll just guess it's Bob's Burgers.
Wow, good job.
I got that from context because you guys love that show.
Bob's Burgers.
Anywho, video games costing $70, I think makes sense. But I think the better question is, how many games should get that price tag? Should Zelda get that price tag? Honestly, yes, they should. I'm mad that they're all secretive about it, but yes, it should be $70. Should a game like Callisto Protocol, which overwhelmingly did, under expectation, should that have cost $70? Well, it had a lot of hype. It had a lot of big names connected to it. They had great acting and things. I'm sorry, big actors connected to it. But the game should have been $70? No.
I think we can all agree that it's going to happen eventually, and it probably needs to happen. I think the big takeaway is do it in a tasteful way, in a way that doesn't feel like you're screwing over the fan base when you are, but at least make us feel like we're not. And I give Nintendo a big thumbs down on that.
Yeah, they should have prepared us with like a training bra or something, right? Before going into it.
They should have Pepper Anned us.
They should have Pepper Anned us.
$65.
Yeah, just a little bit up, right?
$69.99.
Yeah.
No.
At least you still have have a 69 in there, and it makes it a little better.
Fun fact.
Sweet.
When I worked at True Value, this was my first real taste of capitalism. I remember my boss. We had something out front. It said $9.99, right? It was like up at the front, whatever. And I remember asking, I was like, why do they have $9.99? I don't understand. Like, what's the problem with that? Why not just make it 10? It's a penny. Nobody carries pennies on them. It's
psychological. There's lots of psychology into this.
He said, yes, people see $9.99. They don't see 10. They see 9. So you see $69.99. You don't see 70. You see 60. And so on. And I was like, no. So I tried it one week. I don't think he's listening to this pod. I doubt it. But if you're listening, please step away and stop listening to this part.
He's gonna dock your pay for
dock
this.
My pay somehow.
Yeah.
Send a whole dollar back, or I have to send a whole dollar back. So one week I put up a sign over the $9.99, and it wasn't even actually. I think it was a few days, and I put 10. I just put 10 flat. I kid you not one person bought one of those things. It was something stupid. It was like a lighter. I lived in Humble. It was a lighter. People would buy it. Okay, obvious reasons.
Not obvious to me. Can you explain it?
Because they like doing magic tricks with the lighter.
Obviously,
we all like doing magic tricks with fire.
And then freaking out afterwards and wondering if the cops are after them. So that being said, I was like, okay, that's weird. So I took it off, and no joke, within 30 minutes of me taking it off, 4 people bought lighters. And I was like, dude, this is crazy. And it's amazing how they $69.99. So they could have done that, and we would have all just eaten it up if they came out and said, hey, we're going to start raising the prices for the big name games. Mario's. Even if they just came out and said, look, man, Mario's, Zelda's, they're going to be 70. We'd all go, okay, that sucks, but they're worth it. We know they're going to be worth it, so okay.
Huge missed opportunity. They could have just raised everything to $64, and we would have been like, nice, Nintendo 64, sweet. And then there we go. Everybody would have been like,
it's still less.
Holy crap. Can you imagine? So Scott, I think you just made a bunch of money for Nintendo. If every N64 game that they remaster, if they sell it for $64, people will gleefully buy it at that rate. Like I think I saw the Metroid Prime remasters like $40.
Yep.
Uh,
Well, that would have been because it was 128 by then, right?
right.
Right. So they should sell Metroid Prime remaster for $128.
That checks out.
Yeah, it checks out. That seems legit.
But if they remastered like, oh my gosh, if they actually said, hey, here's Super Smash Brothers in the eShop of N64, $64, you know how many people will buy that?
They buy it. Yeah,
they buy it.
They buy
so much money. The aesthetics of numbers actually does a lot. And it applies to like gas prices too. Like you're talking about like the 99-bit. Like if does someone want to pay like $3 for gas or they want to pay $2.99? They're going to pay $2.99. It's literally a penny, but that's how it works. That's how people work. We're all dumb. That's how Black Friday works. They take stuff that usually costs like $100 and then they just put a slash through like a $200 and say, look, it's $100. That's how we work.
And $2 that much.
Yep.
So I think Scott just broke.
Dollars.
Oh no.
He broke.
Oh no,
Scott
we broke. The Nintendo ninjas.
I think Big Nintendo's onto us, guys. They're
showed up.
They're trying to shut it down.
Last week it was Big Meat. This week it's Big Nintendo. I'll just edit it and I'll put a picture of the Scotty Porta Potty over it.
We'll put like an RIP over it and play like that song, whatever, like the song of an angel, whatever that stupid song is.
Away from me.
I can't. Okay. I only gone through that commercial once, and after that, every time it starts, I change it. I can't do it. I can't. It's
you
too
and
rough.
everybody
I
else.
can't see all those poor little. They always have that one shot. I try to get through it, and when they show the shot of the cat with the tear going down its face, it's just like, I can't see a crying cat.
So here's a controversial thing to ask you guys. What's more sad? Because there's two different versions of that. There's the animal version where they'll show dogs or cats, sad stuff. Or the children version.
Animals.
Pets, animals, no question. Not even up for
Fuck
debate.
them
If
kids.
you showed me like look at this crying
We're gonna get
kid.
canceled so quick.
Well, that's just how human nature works. Like, look at this crying kid. Like, oh, sad. I hope their mom does something.
Okay, so here's.
But if you see a crying cat, like one, cats can't cry, so good editing on you. But two, if we see like a cute little animal, by instinct we're like, oh, look at this tiny little thing that I love that won't ever talk back.
I love how your cat is like promoting this too right now.
Yeah, he's here to be like,
Probably-
that's right, man. I'm the boss.
Good call. Okay, here's the thing. Today it's a crying kid. 10 years from now, they'll be voting. 20 years from now, they'll be going after my job. So I'm just saying, I'm trying to go and keep them down while they're still vulnerable, all right?
They're after our germs.
Where are our jobs? These children, these youths. It's not the immigration that's a problem to take our jobs. It's all you people procreating.
It's so creepy. We're actually training our own replacements. If you were at work and you're like, here's the guy that's going to replace you. Go let him follow you around for a couple months and train them, and we're going to fire you. Okay. That'd be weird. That's what we're doing with kids. Like, you're going to die, and this kid's going to take over for you. That's weird. I'm sorry.
Gosh, I don't hope that I die while I'm working, but at this rate, it's going to happen. I was hired at a job once, and I show up, and like the first day, my boss is like, hi, so I know you hold the same position as this person. We basically hired you so we can move her to another position. I'm like, cool. Tell that to a new hire on the first day that you're here to replace that person. Also, don't tell them. That's just a fun little HR thing. Don't do that ever.
Another great Bob's Burgers reference could be made from that. I'm sure Mike remembers that one.
Which one?
Mr. Fron. It's like, now he's going to be telling you that you're going to take a walk. No, he's not.
Oh.
Mr. Fron, time to go for a walk.
Time to go for a walk. What? Why? No. Okay, yeah, you're right. I remember that now.
There you go. How dare you? How dare I out Bob's Burger you?
I know. You got me on that one.
Got him.
All right.
I'm just happy to be here, guys.
A good segue into the next segment. And Matt, we're cycling back through. Do you have a topic to talk about? And before we do that, don't be alarmed. We've changed positions. Change places. So don't freak out.
Magic.
We're just doing magic. We're doing editing magic. So that being said,
magic.
Well, now Matt is on the West Coast and Mike is on the East Coast. Because that's how.
Well, I'm actually central on my screen, so interesting. So I'm central. Scott's on East Coast and Matt's on West Coast now.
Gosh, I don't want to go back to the West Coast. Don't make me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Don't come back
Appreciate
here. Don't come back.
it.
Don't come back now. You're here.
The feeling's mutual, buddy.
Yeah, no one wants those Midwestern jerks. All right, so are we wrapped up on that one?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're kind of so in that $70 thing. I think we're all very much in agreement. Nintendo did it in a terrible way. Sony did it in a terrible way. Microsoft at least said, "Look, we gotta do it, so we're doing it," and they gave us time, right? Like a little bit of time, and then it happened. Okay, but $70 games are inevitable. But what I would like to see, just to kind of put a cap on this, is whatever happened to the PS2 mid-tier games, man? Like, give us those mid-tier, like you said, you've been playing Outriders. That's a lower mid-tier. What
Yes.
if that game had come out and they're like, you know what, this is a $30 game brand new, like out the gate, $30. I feel like more people would have been willing to try it out, right? That's the whole thing with Game Pass. They're like these full-price games that you could just get them, try them out. How much do you pay for Game Pass a month? Game Pass Ultimate. I paid for it, so like I just
how much does Game Pass cost?
it's a good chunk of change. So
Okay.
I got mine with my Series X. It still has yet to run out. I got a 2-year plan, so it runs out this November. But I believe it is for Ultimate. I think it's $20, Scott. It might be 15.
That
A
sounds
month?
too much. I want it's 15 a month.
It might be for Ultimate.
So yes, I think the person end up really like making out well from this. I think it's gonna be Xbox because you have these $70 games and we spent almost an hour talking about like, oh, we don't want to pay $70. They're gonna go and Diablo 4, all these different first-party games are going to be available day one on the Game Pass, and maybe they'll bump up the cost of Game Pass $3, $5. You know what? If they bumped up Game Pass $5, I wouldn't complain at all because I still think it would be a fantastic value. And I think it's definitely a situation where the competition is just making Game Pass look more and more appealing, and Microsoft's just going to keep raking in the money. So, you know what? Good job, Microsoft. You pulled it off at least on Game Pass.
Well,
There's still like 3 times as many PS5s sold as your console, but at least you got the Game Pass thing going.
You know what's one thing I always find interesting is usually like the good guy in the console races, whoever is losing the most. So
And
right
whoever
now,
is winning is the cockiest POS.
yeah, which is Sony right now. And I love my PlayStation. I still think they have the best games. The controller is phenomenal, but oh my gosh, they are just like, we're winning. We will do nothing crossplay unless you force us, which thankfully has happened. And then Microsoft's like, guys, let's all just be friends. But I guarantee if Microsoft was winning, they'd be like, screw you guys. We are the elite. We're the best.
Well,
And
that's
Nintendo
what
just does whatever Nintendo does.
that's what
They're
that's
their
what
own thing.
Microsoft. That's the Xbox One.
Mm.
They got too cocky, and then a lot of people went to the PS4. Sony had their fall too. I'd like to pull attention to the the PS3, the one Sony console I never owned.
It's the worst Sony console, without question.
Easily.
Without question.
Yeah, PS3, that whole debacle. Before my PS5, the last Sony console I owned was a PS2, and the PS3 is the direct reason why. It was so bad I even skipped PS4 because of it.
Which is sad, but I mean, you're making up for it with your PS5. You got to play all
backward
these
compatibility, baby.
There you go. Yeah, PS4 is my favorite console of all time. PS5 definitely is on its path to take that one for me, for sure. Freaking love my PS4. Thing was a jam.
Solid console. I will. I mean, I'm a fan of the Switch, but I call a spade, man. PS4 was a beast.
So good.
Best console all time, GameCube. How many consoles have a handle on it?
So speaking of the GameCube, that is also probably the most indestructible console that has ever been made. Here's an example. I actually dropped my GameCube once down a flight of stairs. Just full on, just did that Ace Ventura slinky thing, or just a regular slinky thing. It just bump, bump, bump. And I'm like, well, I'm already here. I'm not even going to try to catch it. I might as well enjoy watching this cube just bounce all across my stairs and hit my wall all over the place. It bounced all the way down my flight of stairs, hit a wall. I walked over. I looked at it. maybe a few scuffs on it. I plugged it in. It worked perfectly. Sweet. Cool.
Okay. Pure
What if
hypothetical question. You're in a room, every game console ever made in there, and a guy busts through the door to kill you, and you only had time to grab one game console to defend yourself with. Which one would you go for? There's one obvious answer, GameCube. And I'm just saying, leaving it there, right to bear arms, GameCube.
Do we have
Self-defense.
all consoles in the room?
Yes.
Nah, that would be the PS3, the original PS3.
Where are you going to rip the PS3 from?
You throw that thing
like such a goober holding with two hands. You're just like, no.
Okay, you got it as a shield.
One hand, the GameCube, two GameCubes, one for each hand.
So there's your tagline for the GameCube. Nintendo GameCube. You can dual wield it.
Yes.
Just holds your two GameCubes. I mean, you got a point. If we're
Windmill.
If the sole, oh my gosh, amazing. If the sole reason to buy a system was like, which one will help you the most in self-defense? By golly gee, the Nintendo GameCube. Scott, you have created world peace. Instead of sending all these weapons and tanks to Ukraine, just send them a crap ton of GameCubes.
I think the real takeaway from tonight
is going to be with just like all these Ukrainians just swinging around GameCubes.
You got different platoons and stuff that have the different colors. So like, you know, the purple or the front line. So the purples are the front line, the silvers are the back. They're the ones that are hucking theirs, you know. They're like the the artillery. So
I think the real takeaway from tonight is Nintendo, why haven't you hired me for marketing? $64 games, self-defense GameCubes. Like, the ideas just keep coming.
Could have gotten in the military market, which is endless funding. You could just forget Hanafuda cards. Get into military.
I think Vladimir Putin, who's definitely listening to this right now, because they listen to everything that we do, is just like, I haven't thought about this.
Oh no!
And now they're gonna make a division to fight GameCube.
In 2 weeks, we're gonna see a bunch of guys. They're like, they're out there with, what is that? A GameCube? And we're all gonna be like, oh no! What did we do?
I think the U.S. military just got this new marketing campaign. It's like, listen, all you guys that play Super Smash Brothers Melee still and refuse to shower and don't know what deodorant is, have we got a job for you? Come join the military. We'll give you your own personal GameCube. Go take it to Vladimir Putin. He says your main in Smash is trash. There you go. I just solved everything. This war is over. And that's oh my gosh, hang on. This has been happening the whole time. Advance Wars just got announced for April after getting delayed because of the war.
Think about it.
Nintendo has won this war for us.
Well, they predicted when the war is going to end. There we go.
And in March, and we're celebrating
on March 31st. It's just gonna be like the rest are gonna go. They got GameCubes. We're done. We're out.
Over.
Guys, we figured it out. The conspiracy has been cracked.
Unlike the Nintendo GameCube, the most durable system to ever exist.
This week, Big Meat is just happy to not be a part of the conversation.
Oh, Big Meat, your turn's coming up next.
That being said, Matt, do you have anything else you want to talk
about? Sure. A thing that just came to mind, other than Scotty Porta Potty drawing that your wife has made, now needs to include a weaponized Nintendo GameCube. You were talking about selling Zelda for $70. I guarantee that's a game that's going to come with DLC. So not only are we buying games for $70, we're paying like what, $30, $40 for season passes, and you get waves of subjective like quality. Like they just announced like the Splatoon waves of DLC, and wave 1 is like, hey, that whole lobby you can stand in? Well, guess what? Here's the Splatoon lobby. It's purely nostalgia. Give me $20. Like that's dumb. Like it's cool for people that want to see it. I would love to like have, to walk around the Splatoon 1 world, because that's my only Splatoon game I played other than 3, because I skipped 2. I'm like, that's kind of neat. I like that. But how much money is that going to be worth? Is it going to be worth it in the slightest? So that's what I want to talk about, is these games cost $70 with DLC that's basically finished and ready to go out the gate. Like, cool, give me more money. And then how soon do they ask you for money? Because I look at games like, I forget what game came out, but there's a game that said, hey, here's this cool new game, and a month later, here's DLC for it. I hate that.
Oh, I'm going to rant so hard on this. You got my blood boiling. I do want to point out, maybe in the defense of Splatoon 3. Maybe in the defense of Splatoon 3. I just saw, sorry, Chrome, I'm not mentioning you this week. I'm going to mention Cube this week. That
Can't play favorites.
yes, can't play favorites. He pointed out, he's like, oh my gosh, so like the one that we saw today is actually not the main one. That was like part of the pass, the part of the DLC pass. The main one is called Side Order. And it was all monochrome. It was all clean. So when they showed a teaser. It was clean. It reminded me of Nier Automata when you go to the copied city, like that area. It was all clean. It was pristine. Things floating around. It was like had this haunting, beautiful thing. And you two wouldn't know this, but in Splatoon 2, one of the final Splatfests was Chaos versus Order. And literally they said, hey, whatever wins, that's going to be the theme of the next game. And I, up until this point, thought that was just garbage. They already planned it. And Q pointed out, he said, oh my gosh, I just got it. Monochrome, Side, Order. This is what if Order had won. So, to the defense of that, and I hear echo, by the way. Is that just me?
It's Scott because he's not using headphones, so it's coming out of his computer speaker.
That professional $25 Walmart.
If you just put on headphones, that would solve the issue.
You could always
own headphones,
and you could always get $10 headphones at Walmart.
I mean, keep that theme going, man.
No.
For those that are not watching the video, so Scott leaned in, said his word, and then he stopped, and then about 5 seconds later, the word actually came out.
The point of this is, if you're listening on audio, you should probably also go watch the video because it's wonderful, and you won't see the nice little Scotty porta potty thing that we'll be playing a little bit later.
Listen, if for the video, you can minimize you and I, and just have it on Scott the whole time. The whole time. That's
hear
all
our
I
voices
see.
And just see Scott. Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, to wrap that up, and then
big, Matt. Now you're thinking big. Those are money ideas.
Constantly. Anyway, so I think if that's the case, then it's cool because they legitimately followed through and said we have a general thought of the game. Whatever wins now, that's where we're going, and they did it, which is kind of a cool concept already, right? But then also they had a backup, so a smart business plan of, okay, if Chaos wins, we're gonna have an Order DLC. If Order wins, we're going to have a Chaos DLC. So Chaos won, therefore we're getting an Order. Now, this is all speculation. We don't know. So in its defense, that could actually be kind of cool. So I get it. Trust me, I'm going to rant about this so hard. I'm going to go last because this pisses me off so much. Splatoon 3 actually pissed me off. It makes sense why right out of the gate they were like, oh, Splatoon 3 is coming and there's going to be paid DLC. And I was like, what the hell? It's not even out yet, and you're telling us no. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up a little bit because this pisses me off so much.
Grinded his gears, Scott.
Yes,
they are thoroughly grinded. Well, I guess it's your turn, Scott. Let Mike stew a little bit on that one. Oh man, is this mic not working? Are you muted? Did you just pull a boomer?
I did pull a boomer. I boomed it up.
He just boomed on us. See, you work in a field that doesn't really work from home, unlike Mike and I. So this whole muting, unmuting yourself, we figured this crap out about 2 years ago. But here you are, just fresh as a daisy. I'm gonna just talk without unmuting myself. And Mike's doing it right now. Yeah, go for it, Scott.
Been for out there, best DLC of all time, Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And but yes, other than that, it's bullshit. I have more to say than that.
He's not wrong. Borderlands 2 though is DLC done right, where it felt like I think the season pass cost, was it $20 or $40 I don't even remember at the time.
I want to say it was 30.
Yeah. It kind of meet halfway there. I think it was 30, but that was well worth it because you got 4 really, really good DLC packs. There's like the pirate thing, the Mr. Torg, the big game hunt, and then the what was the last one? It was a good
Dragon
one.
Keep.
Yeah, the best one that we just played recently all together. I forgot that was actually part of Borderlands on its own thing again. That was so good. That's DLC done right. Like it came out a decent amount of time after the game came out. Like obviously they were working on it, like leading into it, but it's just so good. But you know, a game that has DLC that surprised me, Callisto Protocol. Like we just talked about it earlier. That game it has DLC. It added like a super hard mode with permadeath. I'm like, why is that DLC? It added like a horde mode and it added like some cosmetic stuff. And it's like $20 or $30 for the DLC. I'm just like, no, absolutely not. That makes no sense. I see Scott's mouth moving, so let's pause to listen.
Forgot about the death animations locked behind the paywall. You know, it's all the ways you can kill for DLC. I'm not enjoying.
Wait, you're serious? The death animations were locked behind a paywall?
To be fair to the game, like I am enjoying a lot of it. Like the melee combat when done with like one-on-one is so satisfying, especially with the PS5 controller. It's really cool.
It's
The voice work, the motion capturing that they did. Like they got a pretty big name actor to take point on that. It's a beautiful game. It's it is pretty fun, but there's just so many things that are like, this is not a $70 video game, let alone a game that I need to pay DLC for. And I think they're coming out with some more stuff to it.
No, I don't know about that anymore now after it undersold, where I'm like,
yeah. Which is a shame because it was made by a lot of the guys, or at least the director that made Dead Space, the original Dead Space, which is very good. And then EA, a company really no one likes, but still buys their games, made a phenomenal remake based on like what I've seen. Obviously, you've played it and talked to us about it and loved it so much. So EA did a good thing with that. So it was a real bummer. Callisto Protocol just one, it was pretty short, which I don't mind. I actually like a good linear game. But it's not $70 worth of a game.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I got it for Christmas, so I didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
But I would have ended up paying that much for it because I wanted to try it. You know, like that's been my thing recently is I want to, like, I look at reviews, but I also want to just be like, man, that game looks cool as hell. I'm going to play it. I'm going to try it. You know what I mean? Like the old days of like being a kid, walking in a GameStop and going, that's how I played Wind Waker and Metroid Prime. I knew nothing about those games. I knew Zelda.
For Wind Waker, same.
Yeah, I knew Zelda.
I literally
I got to try it.
I bought Xbox 360. Those games I bought were Guitar Hero 2, which was really stupid considering it was just a port of the PS2 game. And then Gears of War. You know what the next 2 games I bought? Just because I wanted 2 new games. I just walked into a Best Buy and literally just like picked the 2 games cool. Mass Effect and BioShock. I just saw posters in Best Buy for both of those games. I'm like, those games are cool. I'm just going to buy them. I don't know anything about these games. I'm just saying, do I know how to pick them or do I know how to pick them?
Yeah, I miss those days, you know? And they weren't all bangers. They weren't all bangers like that. But when they were, didn't you feel big brain? I bet you felt so big brain after that. You're like, I know what.
I always feel big brain.
Did you ever feel the opposite though when you picked a dud of a game?
I just didn't talk about that.
It was not my fault.
I think the biggest dud of a game I ever picked was I just walked into Best Buy like, I want to buy a video game, and a game that just dropped that day. You might not have even heard of this stupid game. It was a game called Dark Sector.
I remember
that was on the 360, right?
That was on the 360, where like you get like infected and get this like spiky Captain America shield that you can like throw around at people. Mm-hmm. It was so freaking bad. Everything about that game was bad. And the fact that like I could cheese certain parts, like there's this whole segment, like I'm going to replay this game. Maybe it's not as bad as I remember. And I just ran to the end, not even like focusing, and goes like, all right, did you place all the explosive devices? I'm like, no. And they're like, we don't care. We're going to pretend you did. So then it let me move on anyways. And it still like blew up the thing that I'd never placed the stuff on. I'm like, yeah, you guys knew you were making a stinker on this one.
You just hurried it through.
Yep. I paid whatever it was, probably $50 or $60 for that game. I'm just like, wow, this this was a bad purchase. Probably the worst game I ever actually paid full price on.
Now,
That has to
see,
be it.
okay, so before I flip out on DLC, to go back to the original conversation of DLC, and I don't even know if you'd consider this DLC. Maybe it's patchwork or updates. Would you lump in DLC and updates and patching? Like, it all depends, right? Like, it all depends on what the DLC is. Like, you look at something like you guys mentioned Borderlands 2 earlier. Hands down, that's like one of the best DLC expansion passes, whatever you could easily. I would also argue too that, and I know neither of you played it, but The Witcher 3 had a really good DLC chunk, and they even gave some stuff, like the game launched and they put a note in there and said, look, we originally were going to release this as DLC. We decided you bought our game, so we're putting it in, right? And then the big ones that we're working on you'll pay money for, and especially Blood and Wine, it was great stuff. But how do we differentiate between, look at No Man's Sky. Everything they've done is technically DLC. It just wasn't paid. And that game got saved and is like the pinnacle of your game can still have a life if you fail miserably at the start. But then you look at games like, I bet neither of you will remember this, Anthem. Know that game?
Yeah.
I remember Anthem.
We're the only three that do remember Anthem then. Because that launched in a really terrible state, and it was all online. And they pushed it, and they did all this stuff, and they had a roadmap. I want to flip out right now. That word makes me want to just punch a wall. I hate that so much. But, like, where do we draw that line between, like, what is DLC, okay, so we pay DLC and it's $5 and it does a lot. Is it okay now? Like, what if for Dark Sector, that's the benefit of the day and age we're in now. Dark Sector may have been turned into a good game if they maybe added some DLC that fixed some things, which essentially gave them more time to work on the game.
That's being very considerate.
Well, maybe Dark Sector's a bad choice.
But I get the example that you're laying down.
So, like, where do we draw that line? Do we go back to the price thing, like what we just talked about, where it's like dependent on, okay, we look at Splatoon 3, you announce your DLC. What the hell? This is stupid. Oh, but it's only going to be $15 and you get a chunk of stuff. Okay. You're extending my game that I was already happy with the $60 game.
It definitely goes back to yeah, go for it.
Like, all this bitching we did about games going up to $70 when sort of they've already been there. They just kind of been making us buy it in two parts.
Oof.
100 billion%.
Some big brain right there.
Big brain, crappy mic.
We're giving us the option of paying $60 for an incomplete version or $70 or $80 for the full one. Just saying.
That's true. Dude, Borderlands, I have bought that game on so many different consoles, by the way, including like the DLC. It's so wow. Here's something to add on. I would buy that game. I've bought that game on the 360, multiple versions of like Borderlands 1, 2, pre-sequel, all that. On the 360, on the PS3, on the PS4, and not on the PS5 because PS4 still works on it. But between my wife and I, we have, between all the games and my wife and I, at least 10 different copies of some Borderlands game has been purchased between us on just so many different platforms, all with the DLC, because it's just good. It's just good. And I feel a lot of DLC is just the worst. We'll talk about Chrome a little bit again. So I was playing Persona 5 and he donated a lot of money to buy all of the Persona DLC, all of it. And almost all of it, man. It's a lot. Almost all of it is cosmetic. Like all of it's cosmetic, and there are some accessories that really do change the game for the better. Would I have bought that on my own? No. Someone give it to me for free. Am I excited about it? Yes. If 10 years from now I'm like, I want to play Persona 5 again, would I pay $60 and then an extra like $50 for the DLC? No. But it's still cool, but there's just I don't like when games have like a million different things that you can buy as DLC. Like there's this skin pack, that skin pack, that skin pack, that skin pack. It works for a game like Fortnite where it's like, listen, this game is free. Buy whatever the heck you buy whatever you want.
You're working your way up from 0, right?
Yeah. Yeah, where a game that like Persona 5 is still selling for like $60 in most places. I bought it used for $30, but even online, I get digital copies. I see it's only like $60. But they added on a lot of DLC that doesn't add a whole lot of value when you really look at it practically, other than you get a new outfit and you get some cool music. So it's fun to vibe on stream with it. Like for me, it's worth it because one, I didn't pay for it, but two, I hope it's worth for Chrome because he gets to see it. He gets to enjoy other people enjoying it. That's cool. That makes the DLC worth it, I think, in that situation. But if I'm playing in a box by myself, I would never buy that because I wouldn't get a lot of value. And I think a lot of DLC is just like, we made this game, it costs $70. Hey, do you want a cool hat? Please give us $5 more. And
it all depends on your vice. Like I am as much as I hate this, as much as I hate this garbage, you know what I did today? I bought the damn Fire Emblem Engage DLC. You want to know why? One freaking character. Not characters. One. Camilla, because I want to use her. Damn it,
Mike is
and we all have our own vices. Some is hookers, some is blow, and for Mike, it's Camilla.
It's Camilla. There's a I'm not even joking. There's a character in Fire Emblem Engage who rides a wyvern, the dragon.
Waverin.
Just like
Waverin.
The dragon rides a dragon.
Shittier version of a dragon.
Yes. Just like Camilla did in her game. She wears this weird thing over her face, and Camilla, her hair kind of covers her face. Now the big difference is that Camilla was an axe wielder. This character in the game is a magic wielder. But I was pretending that this character was my Camilla. You are Camilla. Your name is not Ivy. It is Camilla. And then Camilla came out, and I'm like, I hate you. I hate you. I don't want to spend money. And you know what I did? I just started throwing money at the stupid screen. So, yes, Camilla!
So that movie, Brendan Fraser is in, called The Whale, because that's how DLC works. They don't target the many, they target the few that are willing to spend their money. And they did the research. They're like, that Bartendo guy, he's going to give us $10 or $15 to get this weird axe wielder lady. And look, it is.
She's not even a main character. She's what they call an emblem. The emblems are the fan service characters like Ike, right? Ike, Roy, Lynn, all of these characters that add to the main weeb characters.
They're the fire characters.
They're the dragons. Actually, your character is a divine dragon, so you're the fire character. You are the fire.
I do often feel like I am fire.
So you could be a weeb fire in this game. Anyway, I am ashamed. I'm ashamed at myself, but I also did it.
Should be.
Are you going to feel ashamed when you start playing with them?
I have no comment.
All right, fair enough. I don't know if there's any DLC I've bought that I've regretted, but that's because I spent so very little on DLC for the most part. Like Borderlands for sure, I spent money on it. And I guess the same counts for like battle passes. Like I've now purchased the first 3 battle passes of Overwatch 2, given the third one is free for me. I did buy the first battle pass for Multiverses, which is a game I hope doesn't die like Rumbleverse and Knockout City just did. And I don't regret that one. I'm happy that a game like that got my $10. Just be like, listen, you made a cool thing. I like it. Please don't go away. But there's a difference between like, please don't go away and like, I want this axe wielder, I guess. But
all in the eye of the beholder.
It is all subjective. Like when God of War Ragnarok DLC drops, I know we're all gonna be like, yep, give you money. Because they made a good game, and a good game deserves more money.
That right
Maybe
there.
That's the takeaway.
That right
a good
there.
game deserves more money if they keep making good things.
Consider it as you're donating to like a worthy cause, but you get something in return.
Yeah, the cause is a game company gets more money, and Scott gets an anime girl with an axe. Everybody wins.
Whoa! Why Scott now getting lumped
Yeah,
in
it was
on
definitely
this?
Scott. It was definitely Scott. It was definitely not me.
Whoops.
That is a perfect segue.
I know. Look, very expensive.
That is, I mean, we both have beards. Are you a beardist? Do we all look the same to you?
Listen, I can't grow a beard. I can only grow a mustache. Maybe I think the biggest difference between all of us, other than I'm actually tall, is I have hair up here, but I can't grow hair down here.
How dare you?
Unlike you guys,
Well,
which is
technically, no.
majestic.
I can grow. I mean, I haven't shaved in just a couple days, and it's coming back.
Yeah,
I can grow.
I
I
would like-
choose.
Mike is the worst type of bastard. Can grow hair. Choose the shit anyway.
Yep. I look right at Scott. Every
And I
time in the
bald
mirror,
like
I have a
Corey.
picture of Scott in my mirror, and when I shave, I look right at him and I just go, and I have angry face too, and I'm like, and then I throw the hair at the picture. Every
His wife
time.
has come to accept this, Scott. She's just like, that's the Scott hair pile. It just stays there. He's making his own Scott.
She's just learned to just move around it.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Rage time. I freaking hate it. I hate so much DLC. I hate when they announced Splatoon 3. I love Splatoon 3. Am I gonna get the DLC? You're damn right I am, because I hate myself. I hate that they were like, here's this game and we're gonna be selling DLC. No. I hate that so much. I'm gonna talk about one that was easily my most disappointing game last year, and one of my most disappointing games in at least recent memory that I can think of. Mario Strikers Battle League. I was so excited for that game. And everything that they promoted was right. It's going to be online. We're going to have clubs. You're going to do this thing. We're going to set this up the right way. And I was like, oh my gosh. Everybody's going to love Mario Strikers. It's Mario in sports. Soccer. One of the most popular worldwide games. Yes. And they cut content to make this drip feed, make it seem like they were giving you something. But they're free updates. They're free DLC, Bauer. No. That was base game. You took out. You killed your game. Who is talking about Mario Strikers except for this stupid, pathetic guy wearing a Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super t-shirt right now? Nobody. Go look at Twitch. How many people are streaming that game? Nobody. You killed your game. Nintendo, you did it. Because of stupid DLC and free updates. I hate when they do that stuff. I hate it so much. I think the only DLC that should ever be allowed, ever, is the stuff that is purely optional. So, those costumes. I look at Fortnite and I hate it because I spend so much money. I'm probably going to get off this podcast and go get, literally, we got Goku, Vegeta, Beerus, and Bulma out there. Because I hate myself. I'm going to get it. But that, I don't need to. I can have plenty of fun with my alien skin, my Spider-Man skin, all of the stuff. I don't need it. It's just, like you said, it's for me. It's for me. It's my little gift to me, okay? If there's a lot of bad stuff in this world, that is my, you know what? This one's for me, okay? Whatever. Borderlands 2. If you got none of that DLC and you play just the base game, you've got a monster of a game. And you play it over and over and over. You said you got it on so many systems. I had it twice on 360. I had it on PS4. I got it on my freaking Switch. I'm sure I'll get it on PC or something down the road and be like, you know what? Maybe I should play this on my Steam Deck. The base game is fine. It's fine. All the DLC was on top of. It wasn't cut. That's my big thing. Don't cut stuff from there just to sell it to us for more, and now you're making your $70 quota, $80 quota, $90 quota. Be upfront. Put it in, and if you give us something that's worth it, I will throw money at the screen for you. As you know, with freaking Camilla from Fire Emblem Engage, I'm still angry about that. End rant.
I agree 100% with that. And you've officially spent more money than I have on DLC. I have come to terms with that as well.
What is going on here, Scott?
I wasn't gonna say anything, but Scott's camera just slowly like panning up and down. Like, are we getting like a side boob shot here? Now it's coming like
we're getting some
back
nips.
up. Some Scott yips. And now he's just lowering it again for funsies. Do you have a standing desk that is it on a motor? What do you no.
I'm actually very good at slowly raising and lowering my body, and you can't tell.
Whatever you just did, you raising, lowering your body, fixed your mic, and fixed your camera. It's all lining up. Don't move it.
That's the spot. Hold the spot there.
Don't move.
All right,
So I definitely
try.
think we're in agreement. We want our DLC to actually add value to what we're doing or be an expansion of. Done. Settled. Random rant I have on DLC right now is DLC that doesn't make sense with the timeline of the game. There are a few games that like, here's this DLC that must be played between point A and B of a game. There are a lot of games that did that. Like one game that meant a lot to me at the time was a game called Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm only going to play it the one time. I loved it. It meant a lot to me. There's DLC. And if I didn't look online as to what was DLC and what wasn't, I would have played it in the very backwards order. And I would have ruined a lot of the game for me if I hadn't done that. So it was beautiful DLC meant to be played at the very end of everything. But I don't like DLC that like, okay, at the end of the game, your main character dies. Well, guess what? Here's some DLC set right before he dies. It makes no sense. Here's a side story or whatever that makes no sense. That annoys me. It kind of feels like how a lot of anime movies sometimes aren't canon. They're like they make no sense as to what's happening. I'm like, all right, I guess we're just here now. Okay, cool.
I think I hate those more than prequels. You know how I feel about prequels of anything, and I think I hate those more. You're 100% right.
So make the DLC be worth something, hopefully to the masses, and I guess make it make sense with your game. Callisto Protocol, you don't need DLC. I'm sorry. You don't. You don't need DLC. God of War Ragnarok, could they add like, hey, you beat all the things. Cool. You did all the things, 100%. Hey, guess what? Because of XYZ in the story, here's a thing you got to go clean up. Here's a new world. It'll take you 5 hours. Like, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll spend some money on that. That makes sense. Post game, cool. But don't be like, hey, before the big bad boss, technically this happened before it. Now go take care of it. I hate that. That is not. That doesn't bring a whole lot of value.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I know. Given that was so good, though. It was such fan service.
That was a good counterpoint, Scott.
Oh my goodness, it was so good. All right, fine. I will allow it if it's good. If it's good, fine. I'll suspend my belief even further. But how good is that Mass Effect DLC, by the way? It is.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, it's
sometimes I go and think it's better than Borderlands 2. It's like Borderlands 2, Mass Effect. It just depends on the week.
I'm very glad that I didn't play that game until everything was there. So I played the Legendary Collection. I played 1 and 2 a bunch, but 3 I never played because of all the reasons you guys talked about. And the DLC came out, and I was already moved on. So I'm like, man, it's wonderful. You told me like what was DLC and what was not. And I'm like, yeah, I can't. I'm glad I did this version because this was just delightful.
Yep, it was so good.
Yes.
Top Game. I know you a previous episode you actually highlighted that in your first season of your podcast, specifically that Mass Effect DLC.
Yep, that was got me Mass Effect, and no joke, Mass Effect 1 and 2 got me back into game. I had left games. I was not going to be a gamer anymore. I was just done, and it wasn't like I hated it. And Mass Effect 1 and 2 brought me back. So they were the goats in that regard.
Hey, and think about this, Mike. This album that you were making fun of, if it didn't bomb, they may not move on to Mass Effect.
Yeah, that's
maybe
true.
Supporting Anthem. So blessing guys right there.
That was the first No Man's Sky.
There's this meme video I saw of No Man's Sky when it first came out, and you've all seen it, I'm sure, where it's like expectations, and it's like it has a Jurassic Park music, like welcome,
and then the melodica,
Park, and then it cuts to like the weird like whatever that, and it's just like derpy looking little weird dinosaur thing. I'm like, yeah, that was No Man's Sky. It definitely was. Now it's good.
Now it's actually good.
It is very good. That's the sign of like, hey, we made a bad game, like you mentioned earlier. We can make it good with DLC, and not just pay, not DLC, like pay DLC. It's all free. So I wonder how they made their money back, other than like, hey guys, buy our game again. I guess I think it's just new people that are bringing it in. So that's an interesting thing. Can DLC bring in new people to a game that's already established, or is DLC only going to cater to like those that played the game?
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
I don't think there's been a single person who's ever like, oh, I had no interest in this game, but this DLC looks cool. I'll buy it now. I don't know. Maybe there is, but I feel very much like that's not the case. It's just kind of
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That game released in 2014
The Wii U.
on the Wii U. So nobody bought a Wii U. So not a whole lot of people played it. And on top of that, there are generations that, gosh, this is going to make you feel old. There are generations that don't really know about the Wii U already. They're old enough to play games, and the Wii U is just something like in our household, our boys would not know what a Wii U is if I didn't have my Wii U out there. They wouldn't have played any of those games. That makes me feel old. So Mario Kart 8 Deluxe getting ported, number one, and then they wouldn't have cared about it, but then also getting all these new things puts it in the spotlight again for people to go, oh, that does look good. Maybe it's not because of the DLC, it's because the DLC is the marquee. Hey, look, it's new. And you go, oh, well, the base game kind of looks good. And then you go and get it.
Oh, here's a fun cheat. I have not paid for the DLC for the Mario Kart Switch version. But if I play online, I get to play them all.
All of them. Yep.
All of them. I don't have to pay a cent.
Nintendo moves.
Yeah. So that's just like, I ain't paying money for this because I don't play it offline enough to like be of value to me. But the fact that I don't like what they did on the Wii U initially is when you queue up online, you can choose 2 queues, base game or base game with DLC. So obviously if you pick DLC, it's much less people that are playing in it. And the Switch one is just like, you know what? Here you go. You can have it. I like that. DLC that everyone can gain value from. Smash Brothers does it as well. Like if I play Smash Online, I can play against the new characters. I can play on the new character stages. I just don't have it myself. So that was kind of neat. I like that.
All right. Well, I just got told by my stupid computer that we have 10 minutes left in this meet. So I want to wrap it up. I think we kind of covered. It was all about money. You notice it was all about money today?
I like money.
Money. So I want to do some final thoughts, and Matt, I'm gonna let you go first, and I'll go after you. We're making Scott go last because he has his own segment, man. And my wife made a cool promotional thing, which I will throw up at the right time. It's been Scotty Porta Potty approved. So Matt, you got any last final thoughts? Random thoughts?
No, just basically, I know gaming is subjective. You like what you like. That's just how it works. But at least when it comes to DLC, at least have it have some form of value. Like there's always going to be someone to spend a lot of money on something that's irrelevant to like 90% of gamers, but that 10% is who they market it to. All right, whatever. I get it. But even with a game that's like $70, to go back to the first point, DLC that's added on, even if it's like a week after the game drops, as long as it's good. Unlike, here's a recent example, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, a game I wanted to like much more than I did. Their DLC is one of the worst that I've seen in a game. I'm sure Scott would attest to that. Make it worth value, and then people will buy it, I guess, is what people should do. But I've accepted that games are going to cost $70 moving forward, and at least a game like Zelda makes sense. But a game like Callisto Protocol does not. As far as personal closing thoughts, I have a Twitch channel, celiac_Matt on Twitch, every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Thanks for letting me plug it, Mike. And those are my closing thoughts. I love you all.
My closing thoughts are: I think that Scott should get a better microphone than a Walmart microphone.
I'll
so
for you next time.
For you audio only people, where this is going up, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try to do the Lord's work, but I'm going to do it for you. But no, for real though, I do appreciate you guys as always. I think you're great, and I love doing this. Bad microphones and all. And my final thought for you listeners is, you know what? Play and do what interests you. Don't let somebody else tell you it sucks or that it's great or that it's bad or whatever. You do you, and if you don't like it, then you don't like it. If you like it, then you'll like it. Don't let somebody else dictate it. Just a thought, just something I wanted to throw out there. And with that, I present to you the Scotta Porta Potty rant time with this lovely graphic followed by Scotty Porta Potty. So take it away.
Over there, he just doesn't care. He's going off on a crowd of people, throwing words in the air like he just don't care. He's yelling at all of us sheeple. It's a Scotty Porta Potty rant. It's a Scotty Porta Potty rant. It's a Scotty Porta Potty rant. It's rant time.
All right. You know what really grinds my gears? Baby on board signs on cars. Like, seriously, I don't give a shit that you have a baby. What do you really think that's going to do? I'm an asshole driver. Screw you. F you, man. I'm going to cut you off. And go, oh, this lady has a baby on her car. I'm going to drive like a nice guy. Drive the speed limit. I'm going to use my blinker, go in front of her. You know, she's got the baby. No one gives a damn about your baby. Why do you have to advertise it? I didn't impregnate you, lady. I don't care about having a baby. Seriously, what is the point? You don't have to have that. Just get me upset. Maybe right now, I expect you to go and razor blade and scrape the on board decal back.
But my takeaway from this is you get no special treatment whatsoever from Scott unless he impregnates you.
And then he's going to put a baby on board sticker on his vehicle.
No, his is gonna be a baby on board, but it's gonna be Scott's baby on board.
Yeah,
that's
like
that's
written
that's
above
the
it.
qualifier. Yeah, he'll write it in crayon on a car.
All right. Well, hey, thanks, guys. And thank you, listeners. Anybody watching, anybody listening, I appreciate you as always. You were awesome. You can check Matt out. Celiac Matt. I won't even mess it up this time.
Thanks,
Celiac Matt on Twitch. I think that's your Twitter handle, too, but I don't think you really use that.
Don't worry about
anymore.
Twitter. Only Twitch.
Yeah. So Twitch, that's the only thing that matters, really. Twitch. Scott, to be determined on his streaming endeavors. So stay tuned. But that's big boy Scotty Porta Potty. And I am Bowertendo. You can catch me all over the place. I'm also on Twitch, Bowertendo. Mondays and Tuesdays, usually follow up good old Matt's act. He usually throws people my way anyway. So anyway, appreciate you. And until next time, bye.